Hey Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good, good. I know unless you were living under a rock that everybody probably tuned in or got a little tidbits of what Trump said yesterday and kind of wanted to get your opinion on if you thought what he said was what you were expecting or if it was a little bit of curveball and how you think it's going to affect mortgage rates here.
I'm free to admit that it did not go the way I expected. I expected far more things like almost like declaring victory, or at least getting really close to declaring victory.
Yeah.
Basically, I expected last night to be more of a wind down, like we're almost there, mission accomplished, a couple of little things left to go, but we'll be out of there in 2 or 3 weeks. Almost like certainty. That's kind of what I thought going in. But what we got is 2 or 3 more weeks. We're going to beat the hell out of them. Um, no negotiations until the strait is open. And if they don't do anything, we're going to take them back to the Stone Ages, which is escalatory. Because again, you got to remember, they're not just going to sit back and take it, they're going to escalate as well. And if they escalate, then Israel's going to escalate. And then if Israel escalates, the Houthis are going to escalate. And then, this, that, and the other. So, no, it did not go the way I expected it. Um, that just means oil's going to shoot higher. It probably means rates are higher. It probably means, a global recession is all but certain at this point. Because again, a lot of Asia and Europe are impacted more directly and quicker than we are. Then fertilizer and then food. And then, it's just, this was my fear the whole time, is that this was going to be longer, certainly longer than we wanted, probably longer than he expected. And there's a lot of negative downstream ramifications. I was very hopeful yesterday was going to be, we're basically out. Like, peace. We did what we want. See you later. You guys deal with the mess. But that's not what we got. He's coming in hot, it seemed like.
Yeah, kind of more. I was anticipating the same, more of like a victory declaration, and now we're better, and now we're moving on, and now we can expect this. But would you say that I mean, they haven't been implemented yet, but his hopeful policies and plans are going to make it short term more inflationary?
Well, there's no question that at least inflation expectations, which is what's going to move first, are going to be higher. We're going to get a CPI reading next week that probably has a 3 handle on it because
Yeah.
of higher gas. I just saw this morning that people now are expecting CPI the following month to be like 3.4 or 3.5. And that's a long way away from 2%. In fact, it's a pretty opposite. We're going higher and higher. There was a report 2 weeks ago that some global economists think we're going to go as high as 4.2 in the United States. And what you got to remember, when I talk about 4.2 in the United States, we're probably the least impacted by what happens in the strait. If we're up 4%, Europe's probably up 6, and Asia might be up 7, because 80% of the oil that comes through there goes to Asia and Europe, and it's just more direct. We're going to be impacted because gas and oil is a global commodity, but not as direct and as immediate. But yeah, I don't know how you can look at the situation, especially with us clearly stepping on the gas, like we're going to take them back to the Stone Ages. How do you think they're going to react?
Yeah.
Right? If we
So that's
start
a
taking out
bold.
refineries in the it could get real. I mean, we could be at this. We could be here for years above $100 and $150. It could be really bad, man.
No, and I think it's a lot scarier than I think people, at least that I kind of communicate with, are seeing. This isn't like a kind of small problem that we have in front of us, at least in my opinion. And
This is not Venezuela. This is not. It's over in
exactly,
4 seconds.
it's not
Right?
even close. I don't think you can compare the two.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
And I'm not. Uh, I'm not brought on this channel to be speaking as an expert on politics. I think we could go on and on about that. I do enjoy it, but
Yeah.
um, 30 days from now, and then let's just go 6 months from now. Do you think
Sure.
rates are going to be higher than they are today?
30 days feels like a layup. They're going to be higher. 6 months is, because again, I'll just talk about it. So Grant Cardone, right? Somebody that's really well known in the real estate industry.
And
It,
likes to.
yeah, yeah.
It's a good
He
heard
yeah,
of.
he actually said that he expects mortgage rates to be down below 6% by the summer. So in his world, right, could that happen? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
in order to get there, you have to have peace in the Middle East. You have to have resolution to this. You have to have an open strait. You have to have no more bombs going anywhere. You can't lose any infrastructure. You have to make a lot of positive assumptions. But yeah, you could assume that that is one outcome. I don't think it's the base case. I don't think it's the most likely case, but it is a case. So there are. I mean, the divergence on rates 6 months from now. I mean, on most optimistic, 5.8, 6 months from now. So what would that be? That'd be October,
Yeah.
October 2nd.
That's
So
through summer.
yeah,
So
through summer. So 6.8
yeah.
or 5.8. 5.8's the low, dude. On the high end, we could be at seven and
Predict
a
what
half
predict against Grant. He said before or starting summer.
in the summer. In the
So you
summer.
agree with that?
No, I don't agree with it. I just agreeing it's possible because one of the reasons I'm slightly negative now is I see from here to there, there's so many variables that could go either direction, right? Usually when I look at the economy, the path looks pretty like it's almost like dominoes falling over. Like I can follow the dominoes. In war, especially a multi-theater, countries involved, there's enough things that could go batshit crazy where the worst case scenario comes in out of left field. And that's just too many variables for my brain to think of. Because again, I like in the summer, like let's say July 15th, we'll pick middle of the summer. Rates could be 6% or 7.5%.
Yeah.
They could. I have no idea where we're going. So if you like it, lock it would be my words of advice.
Yeah, and I was speaking to a very big client of mine who was super optimistic on this being essentially done and rates returning back to where they were in like September by summer as well. And somehow the analogy came up where like, it's March Madness, basketball and all that. Like if you're betting on that, that's like a 18 leg parlay that you got to hit for it to get there. And that's what I don't think people understand. It's not just like a one ticket problem that we got to fix. It's 18 problems to get to where we are to be
I
fixed.
think that is very well said. Is it possible you hit an 18-leg parlay? Absolutely. And if you do, it's going to be a monster win,
Yeah,
as it should. But it's not likely. It's not
exactly.
likely going to happen.
Exactly.
So yeah,
That's how I felt.
it's pretty crazy. Well, let me switch gears on you a little bit because again, some of the areas that I am watching that I think directly or at least indirectly impacts you in DSCR loans is the debacle of private credit. Right? We've seen Blue Owl this morning. One of their technology funds had a 40% redemption request, which means they got
Nuts.
4 out of every $10 the clients want back. Obviously, there are gates, which is a feature, not a bug, so they're only sending out 5%. But that's a sign of stress. I am wondering if that's going to ripple through DSCR lenders. Are we going to see rates change, programs change? Because Wall Street's the ultimate buyer of all this, and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the doomer type advocate right now, but I'm trying to give everybody as much of a fair warning as possible to where I truly think this is headed in terms of the securitization of DSCR loans and the requirements now that hedge funds are going to require to get a loan purchased or get a loan closed for this audience on a DSCR scale is going to change dramatically. And I say that because I'm already seeing the ripples of it. For example, there's been a lot of talks just from us speaking to Wall Street himself, and it's been the last 4 or 5 years where like the best rate was 1.0, right?
Right.
Have your rent be at 5,000, the mortgage payment be at 49.99, which in the grand scheme of things, when it was being rolled out, it was the quickest, easiest math for the consumer, the lender, the end buyer to do. It was like an easy calculation, right?
But yeah, let's be clear. I always thought that was a very risky loan.
It's a bad loan. If you want
is
to call it what it is because it's 1.0 today. Okay, taxes and insurance go up next year. Now what is it?
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
1.0, right? Or you have 1 month of a tenant leaving out or moving out, and you got to fill it, clean it, get it. Okay, now that
Yep.
8% of your yearly
Yep.
income, now your DSCR is 92, not 1. So
Amen. Yep.
what's happening, and I think they've kind of caught on, and they've have gotten fat, if you will, off writing so many of these loans. Where now it's like, because so many people are using it, they don't have to be so aggressive
Yes.
in the qualifications needed. So I think, and I'm going to say it's more than a 50% chance that by the end of the year, okay, your quote unquote best rate, or the rate that gives the most bang for your buck, used to be 1.0. You just wanted to be over 1.0. That'll get you kind of like the best rate. It's going to be 1.25.
Yeah.
And
I'm
now,
I'm willing to do
yeah,
that too. Yeah.
if you're below 1.25, I think it's going to be close to 0.75% higher than if you're above 1.25.
Wow, that's significant. Yeah.
Because that's the line that's drawn in the sand right now between 1.0 and 0.99. So that's going to
Okay.
be the new big line in the sand. I could be wrong. I kind of hope it is, because it'll make investors at least analyze their deals a little bit smarter. It will take out the first time investor that's putting 20% down and getting
Yeah.
it at 1.01 and then not being able to refi 3 years later,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah. I would love to see that go to 1.25, because again, the whole idea of getting wealthy is you got to be able to hold the asset for a decade. If you're buying at a 1, you're just as likely to lose that asset as keep it.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Because it's
Yeah.
slowly turning into more, and it always kind of started as it, but now it's getting closer to more of a commercial loan product. I
I
think
agree.
it's soon going to be, why aren't we taking in any of your overhead or expenses? Why are we looking at the gross and not the net? Um,
I agree.
if I was the guy that had the billions of dollars and was lending it out, I'd look at the net. I don't need to
Yeah.
know what the gross is. The gross is just like on tax returns. Like,
Yeah.
why are you looking at the gross? I
Yeah, it
want to see
doesn't
what
matter.
actually
That's
you
it.
take.
Yeah, how much do you make? What do you want, the gross or the net? Always the
Yeah,
net, folks. Always the net.
exactly.
It's so funny.
Um,
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense to me, because again, what I think we're going through, really in all the investing is private credit, DSCR, Wall Street lending. There are going to be some losses absorbed, and these are illiquid assets, and that's going to, these gates like at Blue Owl and whatnot are good because you don't have forced selling or as much forced selling, but it also means new loans got to be it, because you don't want to keep feeding garbage, right? You're going to change the criteria, so now you have good loans going in. It would not shock me if we go to 1.25 as the new standard. I think it would be healthy.
I think it would be healthy too. It would be a
Yeah.
nice little correction on the DSCR securitization part of the market for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but some positive news instead of the negative is, like, we say it all the time, when there's less competition, which there
Oh,
clearly is now
amen.
because rates are higher. This is when you can capitalize, because those that are, you know, waiting for rates to drop, when rates drop, prices go up really fast. We've seen that a bunch.
Amen.
So, the rent growth and appreciation can definitely outweigh, in my opinion, the 0.5% or whatever,
I mean,
rate
just do the
improvement you're
math.
waiting on.
I mean,
Like,
just do the math. If you let's just use real numbers. And again, I'll use me as an example, right? So again, let's assume a month ago you could get something done at 599. Today it's 6.5. But if a year ago you had to, or 3 months ago you had to pay list price at 599, but today you can pay 10% off at 6.5,
so
unless it's a super cheap property like you could buy on a credit card, it's going to make better sense to get the discount. Because, oh, by the way, the other thing you have to know about real estate is it's a product that you can always go back and adjust, right? You're not always locked in. You're locked into the price, but again, 10% off is 10% off. And today, let me be clear, I would go for more than 10%, but I'm just using this as an example. So again, I think everybody in my community knows I would rather pay 8%. If I would love 8% mortgages again, assuming everybody had to pay 8%, because I'd be one of the only guys shopping, and I'd be going for those 37% discounts, and whatever happens, happens.
you nailed it on the head, and I love that. And I've seen some of my clients take advantage, exactly what you just said, and then the others do what I said at the beginning, and those are the
Just
ones that are
wait.
going to lose.
They're going to be disappointed. They're
Yeah.
going to go, where'd this competition come from?
Yep. I
Yeah,
agree.
it's crazy. But if somebody wanted to get something started, what do they do, Dustin?
Just go to our website, convoyhomeloans.com, and make sure that you mention you came from ORAC.
Yep, one of the drop downs that says, how'd you hear from us? Say or at, because if you do that, then your inbound goes to this gentleman or his partner, Jonathan, and they personally take care of you. Because if you don't, you end up in a queue with all the other curmudgeons, and you don't want to be there. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.